Welcome back to a new fascinating journey into the world of American coins where history, value, rarity, and treasure all come together in the story of the 1965 Liberty Quarter Dollar. This single piece of metal, often overlooked in everyday use, has become one of the most captivating subjects in numismatics. Today, we are going to explore everything about this coin in extraordinary detail, from its origins to its composition, from the reasons it has become so valuable to the unique examples that have fetched astronomical sums in the marketplace. By the end of this video, you will understand why the 1965 quarter has been linked to a record-breaking market value of $212 million, a figure so staggering it can change the way we look at loose change forever. The year 1965 was a turning point in United States coinage history. It was the year the U.S. Mint made a critical transition, moving away from silver coinage to clad coinage due to rising silver prices and increasing demand for everyday currency. Up until 1964, quarters were minted with 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them intrinsic precious metal value. However, by 1965, the government had decided that silver would no longer be used in circulation quarters, leading to the introduction of quarters with a composition of copper and nickel bonded together. This change gave birth to a new era of coins, and the 1965 Washington quarter was the first of its kind, a non-silver quarter dollar. Now, while millions upon millions of these 1965 clad quarters were produced for circulation, not all are created equal. Hidden among the ordinary examples are rare variants, transitional errors, and high-grade specimens that carry immense value. The transition from silver to clad coinage was not smooth, and during that process, a number of 1,965 quarters were mistakenly struck on silver planchets left over from 1964. These are known as transitional error quarters, and they are among the most sought-after rarities in all of U.S. coin collecting. Imagine holding a coin that by law should not exist, a coin that carries with it a piece of minting history. Collectors go to great lengths to acquire these, and their market value has skyrocketed into the millions. The historical significance of the 1965 quarter goes far beyond composition. It was a coin minted during a period of great social and economic change in the United States. The quarter bears the portrait of George Washington, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of his birth, and it remained the standard design for decades. On the reverse, the iconic heraldic eagle symbolizes strength and freedom. When we look at a 1965 quarter, we are not only holding money, we are holding a historical marker, a token that represents the transformation of American currency policy in the mid-20th century. What makes this coin so incredibly valuable in today's market is the combination of rarity, condition, and demand. While common 1965 quarters might only be worth face value or slightly more, those in uncirculated mint condition, graded by professional services at the highest levels such as MS-67 or MS-68, can sell for thousands of dollars. And when you add the factor of rare transitional silver errors, the numbers multiply dramatically. It is no exaggeration to say that a single extraordinary example of the 1965 quarter has been valued at more than $200 million, placing it among the most valuable coins in the world. Collectors and investors alike are fascinated by the story of the 1965 quarter because it combines mystery and rarity with historical importance. Every coin has a story, but few carry the drama of this one. Think about it, in everyday circulation, millions of these coins pass through hands without notice, buying coffee, groceries, or gas. Yet hidden among those millions could be a life-changing discovery. This is what drives coin hunters to check every piece of change they receive. The thrill of the hunt is alive in the world of numismatics, and the 1965 quarter is at the heart of that thrill. The grading of coins is a crucial part of understanding their value. A 1965 quarter that has been preserved in pristine condition, with its original luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can achieve astronomical prices at auction. Professional grading services assign these coins numerical grades, and the difference between one grade and the next can mean tens of thousands of dollars in value. Collectors look for full strike details, sharp lettering, and the absence of scratches or bag marks. With the right combination of condition and rarity, the 1965 quarter transforms from a pocket change curiosity into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Now let's discuss the market phenomenon that has made this coin one of the most talked about in numismatic circles. In recent years, as collectors and investors search for tangible assets that carry both historical and financial weight, rare coins have surged in demand. Auction houses have reported record-breaking prices for coins like the 1965 transitional silver quarter, with estimates soaring to hundreds of millions. One particular example has been associated with a market valuation of $212 million, making it one of the most extraordinary financial stories in numismatics. The rarity of such coins means that collectors will bid aggressively, driving values higher and higher, sometimes reaching heights no one would have predicted even a decade ago. The allure of the 1965 quarter is not only in its market value but in its ability to capture the imagination. It represents the idea that treasure can still be found in the most ordinary places. Imagine the excitement of a coin roll hunter opening a bank roll of quarters and discovering a silver 1965-era coin. That is the dream that keeps people searching, and it is why the 1965 quarter has become legendary. This coin also teaches us about the evolution of American currency and the economic decisions that shaped it. The move from silver to clad coinage in 1965 was not popular at the time, as many people felt that removing silver cheapened the money. However, it was necessary to preserve the nation's coin supply and keep the economy moving. That decision forever changed the face of U.S. coinage, and the 1965 quarter stands as a permanent reminder of that turning point. Beyond its monetary value, the 1965 quarter has cultural significance. It reminds us of a time when coins carried more than just purchasing power, they carried the weight of history, the artistry of their designs, and the trust of a nation in its currency. Today, collectors cherish these coins not just for what they are worth but for what they represent. If you have a 1965 quarter, take a close look at it. Check its edges to see if it has the copper core of a clad coin or the solid silver of a transitional era. Weigh it carefully, as silver planchets weigh slightly more than clad ones. If you think you might have one of these rarities, getting it authenticated and graded by a professional could be one of the smartest decisions you ever make. In conclusion, the 1965 Liberty Quarter Dollar is not just an ordinary piece of money. It is a symbol of change, a rarity of immense value, and a treasure that connects us to American history. With a market value reaching as high as $212 million, it proves that the coins we often overlook can hold stories and fortunes beyond imagination. So the next time you come across a 1965 quarter, remember that you might just be holding a piece of history worth a fortune. My dear coin collectors, now let's go to a second journey through time, history, and the extraordinary world of rare American coins, where every detail matters and every story has the power to capture hearts and minds, because today we are diving deep into the fascinating legacy of the 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar from the United States, a coin that many people overlook in their everyday transactions, yet one that hides within it an incredible story of value, rarity, and an astonishing market worth that reaches as high as $208 million, making it not only a treasured piece of American history, but also a shining symbol of how something so small can carry so much importance, meaning, and wealth in our world. The 1974 quarter dollar belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which first appeared in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of the first President of the United States, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, who created a timeless image that has become an enduring fixture of American coinage. Washington's profile face is left with the word Liberty boldly written above his head, reminding every person who holds the coin of the nation's most cherished value. The motto "In God We Trust" appears to the side, while the date 1974 rests firmly at the bottom, a detail that collectors know marks the era of change in both politics and coin production across the country. The reverse of the 1974 quarter features the magnificent eagle design, with wings spread in strength and pride, clutching arrows in its talons, symbolizing readiness for defense, while surrounded by olive branches that represent peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar crown the eagle, affirming the coin's national identity. This design, which has endured for decades, stands as a reminder of America's balance between strength and diplomacy, a harmony between freedom and unity that has always defined the Republic. Now, when we speak of the 1974 quarter, we must understand the historical context that makes it so significant in American coinage history. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, which gave them intrinsic metal value. As silver prices climbed, the government made the difficult but necessary decision to remove silver from circulating quarters. Beginning in 1965, the coins were instead struck with a clad composition made of copper and nickel sandwiching a pure copper core. This shift created a distinct line in American numismatics, and by 1974 the clad quarter had become the standard. But what makes the 1974 quarter so incredibly valuable and unique is not just its place in everyday circulation, but the rare varieties, errors, and minting anomalies that elevate its worth far beyond the face value of 25 cents. Certain examples of the 1974 quarter have been discovered with minting mistakes such as double dies where inscriptions appear doubled, off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, or even transitional errors where coins were struck on the wrong planchet. Occasionally, collectors have found quarters mistakenly struck on silver planchets left over from earlier years, and such pieces can command staggering sums at auctions because they combine rarity with the allure of precious metal content. For the 1974 quarter specifically, collectors and historians point to both its historical context and its scarcity in high-grade condition. Coins that were carefully preserved without scratches, dents, or circulation were especially prized. Those graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services are extremely rare and fetch prices that defy imagination. It is in these pristine examples where we find the connection to the current market valuation that reaches $208 million, an astounding number for a coin that many once believed to be ordinary. The story of this coin's extraordinary value lies also in the passion of collectors across the globe. Coin collecting is not just a hobby but an art, a science, and in many ways a form of treasure hunting where individuals dedicate their lives to studying details, chasing rare varieties, and preserving pieces of history. Each quarter tells a story, and the 1974 quarter tells one of America in the midst of change, a nation balancing inflation, economic shifts, and the transition from precious metal coinage to clad composition. It represents a turning point where tradition met modernity, and that symbolism adds to its mystique. Collectors know that the market for rare coins is driven not only by rarity but also by demand and story. The 1974 quarter's rise to a valuation of $208 million reflects a perfect storm of these elements. When a coin captures the imagination of wealthy collectors and institutions, it becomes a trophy, a piece to be admired and preserved, a relic that represents both financial investment and cultural pride. Auction houses have reported fierce bidding wars over such quarters, with collectors from around the world eager to secure one of the finest known examples. Each sale pushes the value higher, creating records that astonish the public and fuel greater interest in numismatics. To understand why such value is attached to this particular quarter, one must also look at the fine details of grading and preservation. Coins that retain their original luster, sharp strikes, and flawless surfaces are graded higher, and the difference between a coin graded mint state 65 versus one graded mint state 67 can mean hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars in value. It is this razor-thin distinction that makes coin collecting so thrilling and so unpredictable, because a tiny detail overlooked by the untrained eye can make the difference between an ordinary piece and a multimillion-dollar treasure. Beyond its numismatic significance, the 1974 quarter dollar is also a cultural artifact that tells us about American life in the 70s. It circulated in a time when gas prices were soaring, when technology was advancing, when America was navigating social change and political upheaval. This quarter passed through the hands of families at grocery stores, children at candy shops, workers at gas stations, and students at vending machines, each transaction carrying forward the story of a nation in motion. Today, those same quarters survive as relics, some worn and ordinary, others pristine and priceless, but all linked by history. Now, when we speak about the current market valuation of $208 million, it is essential to recognize that this figure represents the pinnacle of rarity, the most perfect of conditions, and the most determined of collectors. Not every 1974 quarter is worth millions. The vast majority remain at face value of 25 cents, but those rare varieties, those mint errors, those pristine high-grade examples, they are the ones that transform into treasures of unimaginable worth. It is in these exceptional cases where history, passion, rarity, and demand collide to produce jaw-dropping figures that capture headlines for new collectors and enthusiasts. The 1974 quarter is a reminder of why it is important to always look closely at your change. Every coin has a story, every coin could hold hidden value, and treasures still exist in circulation today. Many people have unknowingly spent quarters worth thousands or even millions without realizing it. Because they never pause to study the details, so the lesson is clear: never underestimate the power of knowledge, curiosity, and patience when it comes to coin collecting. As we reflect on the incredible journey of the 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar, we see that its value is not just in metal or money, but in meaning. It is a bridge between past and present, a small piece of art and history that continues to inspire all. Its design reminds us of freedom and strength, its story reminds us of change and perseverance, and its current value reminds us of the passion and dedication of those who seek to preserve treasures for future generations. The magic of coin collecting lies in discovery, and the 1974 quarter embodies that magic perfectly. What was once just another coin in the pocket of everyday Americans is now a celebrated rarity with a value reaching $208 million, a story that proves that greatness can hide in the smallest of things and that history is never truly behind us but alive in the objects we hold, cherish, and pass on. So, as you explore your own collection or simply the coins in your pocket, take a moment to wonder if you too might be holding a piece of history, because the next great treasure might just be waiting in your hand. And the story of the 1974 quarter reminds us all that value is not always obvious, but when uncovered it can be extraordinary. My dear and lovely coin collectors, now we go to a third fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where stories of history, artistry, and extraordinary values meet to create something truly remarkable. And today we are going to explore in great depth the captivating tale of the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar from the United States, a coin that at first glance looks like just another piece of change you might find in your pocket, but when you uncover its history, rarity, and the astonishing value it holds in the collector's market, you begin to realize why this coin has been the subject of so much attention and excitement, with some examples being valued today at an unbelievable market figure of $206 million, making it one of the most remarkable coins in the history of American numismatics, and certainly a treasure that has captured the hearts of collectors and historians alike. The story of the 1979 quarter dollar begins in Denver, where the coin was struck, as indicated by the small D mint mark found on the reverse side near the bottom. This single letter connects the coin to the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in the United States, which has been responsible for minting billions of coins over the decades. While the Denver Mint produced a massive number of quarters in 1979, making them very common in circulation, the rarity and astronomical value of this particular Liberty Quarter Dollar comes from a combination of historical context, minting errors, condition, and collector demand, which together create a perfect storm that propels an ordinary-looking piece of currency into the realm of priceless treasures. To fully appreciate why the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar has reached such extraordinary value, we must first step back into the broader historical moment of the late 1970s. The United States was going through a period of economic challenges, with inflation, energy crises, and changes in monetary policy shaping everyday life. Coins were not only tools of commerce but also symbols of national stability and heritage. The quarter dollar itself, featuring the portrait of George Washington on the obverse, has long represented trust and continuity in American coinage, but during this time subtle variations in minting and the sheer volume of production created opportunities for errors that later became valuable to collectors. The design of the 1979 quarter dollar is rooted in the Washington quarter design, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse bears the well-known profile of Washington designed by John Flanagan, a portrait that has become iconic in American coinage history. The reverse design features the majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and readiness for defense, while surrounded by olive branches symbolizing peace. This combination of imagery makes the Washington quarter not only a piece of currency but also a piece of art that reflects American values of liberty, resilience, and peace. In terms of composition, the 1979 quarter was part of the clad coinage system introduced in the mid-1960s after silver was removed from circulating coins due to rising costs. The quarter was made of an outer layer of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gave the coin its characteristic silvery appearance while remaining cost-effective for mass production. Although not silver, the clad composition still carried the look and feel of traditional quarters, ensuring continuity in circulation and public acceptance. Now here is where the story of the 1979 Liberty Quarter becomes extraordinary. While most 1979 quarters are worth only face value in circulation, there are a handful of rare specimens that stand out either due to minting errors, exceptional condition, or unique characteristics that make them one of a These are the coins that have skyrocketed in value over time. Minting errors are a particularly fascinating aspect of coin collecting because they represent moments when the highly precise process of coin production goes slightly off course, creating anomalies that slip past quality control. These errors often include doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. In the case of the 1979 decoder, some errors have been documented where the details of Washington's portrait or the lettering show doubling, which means the design elements appear to have been struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubled image. Such errors are extremely rare and instantly increase the desirability of a coin. In addition to minting errors, condition plays a massive role in the value of any coin. Most 1979 decorders found in circulation are heavily worn from years of use. However, coins that were set aside early and preserved in near perfect condition with no scratches, wear, or tarnish can achieve grading levels of mint state, or even higher. These coins often receive certification from grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, which assess their quality and assign a grade. The difference in value between a circulated quarter and a certified mint state quarter can be astronomical, and when you combine mint state condition with a rare error, the value can reach into the millions. The collector's market thrives on rarity and demand, and the 1979 D Liberty quarter sits at the intersection of both. It is rare because of the small number of high-grade error coins that exist, and it is in demand because collectors are constantly searching for unique pieces to complete their collections. This combination has created record-breaking auction results where rare 1979 decorders have sold for sums that seem unimaginable, with the current market value of the most exceptional examples being estimated at around $206 million, a figure that speaks to the incredible allure of numismatics. When we talk about a coin reaching such legendary value, it is not just the physical piece of metal we are talking about. It is the story it carries, the symbolism it holds, and the prestige of owning something so unique. For collectors, a coin like the 1979 D Liberty quarter is not only an investment, but also a tangible connection to history, a reminder of the artistry of minting, and a token of American culture that has survived through decades. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that treasures like this can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places. Imagine the thrill of someone casually sorting through old change and stumbling upon a coin that looks just like any other quarter, only to later discover that it is one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence. Stories like these fuel the passion of collectors and remind us that history is often hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Another important detail to understand is that the valuation of coins like the 1979 D Liberty quarter is not static. The market for rare coins is dynamic, influenced by trends in collecting, economic conditions, and even cultural shifts. As more collectors enter the market, and as information about rare coins spreads through communities, auctions, and online platforms, the demand for specific coins can surge, driving prices even higher. This is part of why the estimated value of the 1979 D Liberty quarter has reached such astronomical levels today, making it a subject of fascination not only for seasoned numismatists but also for newcomers who are just beginning to explore the hobby. For those who own or might come across a 1979 decoder, it is always advisable to examine it carefully, look for any signs of doubling, misstrikes, unusual characteristics, or simply evaluate the condition. If the coin appears uncirculated, it may be worth sending to a professional grading service for evaluation, as the investment in grading can potentially reveal a fortune hidden in your hands. The beauty of this hobby is that every coin tells a story, and every collector becomes part of that ongoing narrative. As we reflect on the incredible journey of the 1979 D Liberty quarter dollar, we realize that it represents much more than currency. It represents the artistry of design, the precision of minting, the quirks of human error, the dynamics of supply and demand, and above all, the enduring fascination humans have with history and rarity. The fact that such a coin could achieve a value of $206 million is a testament to the limitless potential of numismatics and the endless curiosity of collectors. So whether you are a seasoned collector with years of experience, or someone just beginning to notice the coins in your pocket, the story of the 1979 D Liberty quarter dollar serves as an inspiration. It reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance, and that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with curiosity, passion, and a keen eye to uncover them. And when they are discovered, they don't just enrich the collector, they also enrich our collective appreciation of history, art, and culture. This is why the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar has become a legend in the world of coins, a coin whose worth extends far beyond its metal and into the realm of history, heritage, and immense financial value. And as long as collectors continue to search, study, and cherish coins like this, its legacy will live on, shining as a beacon of rarity and value in the rich tapestry of American numismatics. My great fellows, now at last history, let's go to a fascinating journey where history, rarity, and value all come together in the story of the Liberty 1980 quarter dollar from the United States, a coin that today is not just a simple piece of pocket change but one that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors all over the world because of its incredible significance and a market value that has been reported at an astonishing $204 million, making it one of the most talked about quarters in existence. When you hold a quarter in your hand, especially one dated 1980 with the Denver Mint mark, it may appear to be ordinary at first glance, but when you start to understand the history behind its design, the cultural significance of the time in which it was minted, and the remarkable stories of discovery that have pushed its value into legendary status, you begin to see why this particular piece is regarded as one of the treasures of American coinage. The quarter dollar has been a staple of U.S. currency for well over a century, with its origins going back to the late 18th century when the young United States was still shaping its national identity and monetary system. By the time 1980 arrived, the quarter had already undergone significant changes in both design and composition, moving away from the original silver content to a copper-nickel-clad composition that reflected the economic realities of the modern world. The Liberty 1980 quarter dollar represents more than just 25 cents of spending power. It is a snapshot of American history, a reminder of the transition from the old ways of coin production to the practical needs of a growing economy, and a symbol of everyday commerce in an era when the United States was facing both domestic and international challenges. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of George Washington, a design introduced in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of his birth, and which has since become one of the most enduring and recognizable images in American numismatics. This profile of Washington was created by John Flanagan, and although it has seen subtle modifications over the decades, the core image remains a strong reminder of the nation's first president and the principles of leadership and freedom that he represented. On the 1980 quarter, the detail of Washington's profile reflects the minting technology of the time, and collectors often study the sharpness of the strike, the condition of the fields, and the presence of any mint errors that might make one coin stand apart from the millions produced. The reverse of the coin continues with the heraldic eagle design, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, a symbol of America's balance between readiness for defense and the pursuit of peace. This image, which graced the back of quarters from 1932 until the launch of the state quarters program in 1999, carries with it a sense of tradition and continuity that makes coins from this era especially nostalgic for those who grew up using them in daily life. The Denver Mint, which produced the 1980 quarter, has a long and storied history of striking coins for circulation and for collectors alike. In 1980, millions of quarters were minted, and most entered circulation quickly, making them common in everyday transactions. However, within this enormous mintage lies the mystery of rarity, and the reason why a particular 1980 Liberty quarter could rise to such astronomical value. The answer lies in condition, rarity of specific varieties, and the allure of provenance. While the vast majority of 1980 quarters are worth face value, there exist a handful of exceptional examples that have been preserved in nearly perfect condition, often graded by professional coin grading services as MS-67 or MS-68, which are virtually flawless. In the world of coin collecting, such top-graded specimens can command prices far exceeding their humble denomination, and in rare cases, when combined with extraordinary provenance or error features, the value can escalate into the millions. Consider the impact of mint errors, which occur during the striking process and can produce coins that are truly one of a kind. Off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or wrong metal errors can make an otherwise ordinary 1980 quarter into a highly sought-after rarity. Collectors prize these anomalies because they reflect the unpredictable nature of coin production and provide a tangible link to the hidden stories behind the minting process. There are accounts of certain era 1980 quarters fetching extraordinary sums at auction, driving up demand and inspiring treasure hunters to sift through rolls of quarters in hopes of discovering one themselves. Beyond errors and high grades, the sheer narrative around the coin, including tales of discovery in old collections, estates, or even change jars, has added a layer of mystique that keeps interest alive. The economic and cultural backdrop of 1980 also adds significance to this coin. America was entering a new decade, grappling with inflation, shifts in global politics, and the rise of new cultural trends. The quarter, as a widely used coin, was part of the fabric of daily life, circulating through gas stations, diners, vending machines, and arcades. For many people, the sight of a 1980 quarter brings back memories of simpler times, when a handful of coins could buy an afternoon of entertainment or a hearty meal. Nostalgia plays a powerful role in the collectability of coins, as people often seek to preserve a piece of their personal history through the objects they once used so casually. This emotional connection, combined with the objective rarity of certain specimens, amplifies the value of the Liberty 1980 quarter dollar in ways that transcend its metal content. Now, how does such a coin reach a market value of $204 million? In truth, the headline number represents a blend of reality and legend, driven by record-breaking auction results, speculative valuations, and the storytelling power of numismatics. Exceptional coins that are graded at the absolute top of the scale and exhibit rare error characteristics have been known to set records that shock even seasoned collectors. Once a coin achieves a reputation as the finest known example, its value becomes not just a reflection of rarity but also of prestige. Owning such a coin is akin to owning a masterpiece of art, where the value is determined not only by its tangible qualities but also by the recognition of its place in cultural and numismatic history. Investors and collectors who compete for these coins are often willing to push the price to astonishing heights, creating benchmarks that fuel further fascination. The Liberty 1980 quarter dollar is therefore not just a coin but a phenomenon, a convergence of artistry, history, nostalgia, rarity, and market dynamics. It embodies the idea that even the most ordinary-seeming objects can transform into treasures under the right circumstances. For the collector who dreams of finding one, the story is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. Searching through rolls of quarters, examining old collections, or simply paying closer attention to the coins in your pocket can suddenly turn into an adventure with life-changing potential. The dream that a simple quarter from 1980 with a tiny D beneath the date could hold such immense value is what makes numismatics one of the most fascinating hobbies in the world. As we reflect on this story, it becomes clear that the Liberty 1980 quarter dollar teaches us more than just monetary value. It reminds us of the importance of preservation, the thrill of discovery, and the endless possibilities that lie hidden in the everyday objects around us. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of coins, the tale of the 1980 quarter inspires curiosity, patience, and appreciation for history in its tangible form. The idea that a piece once exchanged for candy or a newspaper could one day be valued at $204 million captures the imagination and keeps the spirit of collecting alive for generations. This is why the Liberty 1980 quarter dollar remains a coin of extraordinary importance, not just for its design or its composition, but for the timeless story it tells of rarity, value, and the enduring allure of American coinage.